With the India Innovation Hub, not only did we get a chance to showcase our project alongside like-minded companies, but also got the chance to get valuable insights from mentors from Facebook.
मैं सोचा मैं एक आपदे वास्ते एक फेसबुक पेज बना लेना है जो कोई मैं प्रोड्यूस वेचनी हुंदी सी ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਪਾ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ
I can be a small change to to somebody's life, which I think is a big achievement for me.
Look above and see the light, stars and sunny skies, share and spread the color, sparkling bright, and I'm in heaven. Oh, in heaven. When magic takes flight, dreams they come alive, making a world that only I can see, and I'm in heaven.
Tomorrow is shaped by imagination and steel. Tata Steel. We also make tomorrow.
फिर मशीन बंद हो गई।
मशीन तो ठीक है, बिजली धोखा दे गई, केबल ही घटिया है।
मानो या न मानो, आज भी कई औद्योगिक क्षेत्र में बिजली की कमी के कारण हजारों लोगों को खाली हाथ घर लौटना पड़ता है। तो क्यों न एक ऐसा पावर केबल चुने जो बिजली बचाए, बिजली का घाटा रोके और शॉर्ट सर्किट का जोखिम घटाए। चुने रवीन केबल्स। रवीन केबल्स उत्पादन।
Steal the sun.
Ravin Solar Solutions. Why not steal the sun?
At GE, we find inspiration everywhere. From our children, who dare not only to dream, but have the drive to see their dreams through. From parents, who've created partnerships that have seen each other through life's many ups and downs. From the communities we've served, who have made us a part of their lives, of their traditions and stories. This is why what makes us proud isn't that every 2.2 minutes an aircraft with GE technology lands in India, or that our healthcare touches 300 million lives each year. that we produce and transmit over 50% of the power in India. What drives us is being able to give wings to dreams, making families happen, creating warmth and bringing light.
As a financial institution, you handle various complex processes every day. Perfios is the single platform for all the financial analysis needs. Personal finance management allows your customer to manage their personal finance hassle-free. For employment verification, do a ITRV and 26AS pull in real time. Rate your customers' banking behavior with scorecard computation. Through company financials, balance sheet, profit and loss, and GST data analysis, know your client's financial position. Using insights, analyze your customers' bank statements and also get prompt fraud triggers. The online dashboard automatically aggregates all corporate bank account transactions multiple times a day. And that's not all. Now, SMS and mobile data tracking monitors your customers' credit worthiness too. Perfios, your one-stop real-time analysis and decisioning solutions platform.
Another key part that humans, we were meant to be free. Get them up to speed, get them working fast.
are 4.75 million. We are any number of tech-based enterprises. We are 33% under 25. We are plus 353. We are the one English-speaking country in the Eurozone. We are home to 15 of the world's top 25 financial services companies. We are at 12.5% corporate tax rate. We are 100% committed to the EU.
Captains of industry, thought leaders, and entrepreneurs, allow us to extend a warm welcome. We are Bennett University, born into heritage and trailing a glorious tradition. It, however, has been just 2 years since we came into being. Just 2, and yet infused with the accrued wisdom of 175 years. We have a sharply defined raison d'etre. We know what we must be to be a different kind of university, and what we must do to be so. But we can't do this without you. Without you, the industry. We need you today to collaborate with us so that we become more than able to lead the march for you tomorrow. Our growing academic umbrella spreads across science and technology, law, management, and mass communication. People by faculty who come with priceless experience of scholastic and educational leadership at some of the most prestigious institutions of the country, we know we are on our way to becoming a coveted center of learning and research in the country. World class is what we aspire to be and shall be. And recognizing that, we have tied up with some of the best known names in the world. And we just don't talk research focus. Research grants are flowing in nationally and internationally to propel our initiatives in the fields of biotechnology, management, and computer science. And we are sure more will follow. And that is where we need you, the industry, to help us to help you better. We are looking at PhD programs for your best researchers. Conduct joint research in areas of your interest. Set up research labs on Bennett University campus. And be your knowledge partners to help you find solutions to your business challenges. Thank you for being with us on this short introduction. And here's a thought we would like to leave you with. We are young. We are able. We are keen to learn, keen to outdo. And we are sure we can co-think, co-create, and co-accomplish. Come, together, let us make tomorrow happen.
RPA is the latest, most powerful and cost-efficient solution to automate the bulk of repetitive, time-consuming business tasks.
We will create a workflow that will automatically upload contacts from a CSV file
once to input data from an invoice into SAP.
With the India Innovation Hub, not only did we get a chance to showcase our project alongside like-minded companies, but also got the chance to get valuable insights from mentors from Facebook.
ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕ ਆਪਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਫੇਸਬੁੱਕ ਪੇਜ ਬਣਾ ਲੈਣਾ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਕੋਈ ਮੈਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਿਊਸ ਵੇਚਣੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਪਾ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ
I can be a small change to to somebody's life, which I think is a big achievement for me.
Look above and see the light, stars and sunny skies. Share and spread the color, sparkling bright, and I'm in heaven. Oh, in heaven. When magic takes flight, dreams they come alive, making a world that only I can see, and I'm in heaven.
Tomorrow is shaped by imagination and steel. Tata Steel. We also make tomorrow.
आज फिर मशीन बंद हो गई। मशीन तो ठीक है, बिजली धोखा दे गई। केबल ही घटिया है।
मानो या न मानो, आज भी कई औद्योगिक क्षेत्रों में बिजली की कमी के कारण हजारों लोगों को खाली हाथ घर लौटना पड़ता है। तो क्यों न एक ऐसा पावर केबल चुने जो बिजली बचाए, बिजली का घाटा रोके और शॉर्ट सर्किट का जोखिम घटाए। चुने रवीन केबल्स। रवीन केबल्स उत्पादक।
Request you all to please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, request you all to please be seated. We are about to begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, please start settling down. We're about to start the proceedings. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I request you to please take your seats. We are about to begin. Our master of ceremonies today is one of India's most famous international actors whose career spans Bollywood, Hollywood, and Europe. He acted in the James Bond film Octopussy, is a voting member of the Oscars Academy, and has starred in countless Bollywood films. He has been knighted by the Italian Republic, their highest civilian honor, for his acting and achievements in Italy. Please welcome our very own international Kabir Bedi.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your warm welcome. Welcome to day 2 of the Yes Bank EcoTimes Global Business Summit powered by Facebook. We had a great day yesterday, and today we'll have an even more power-packed day because we welcome our chief guest, the Prime Minister of the world's largest democracy and the world's fastest growing major economy. So first, to begin, I'd like to call on stage Mr. Vineet Jain to please come on stage to welcome the Prime Minister as he arrives. And now we await the arrival of Prime Minister Modi. Mr. Vineet Jain. Please welcome the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi. So to begin the proceedings, may I call on Mr. Vineet Jain, Managing Director of the Times of India Group, to deliver the welcome address.
Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Economic Times and the Times Group, I welcome you to the 5th edition of the Global Business Summit. We launched this summit in January 2015, not long after the Modi government took office. Our vision was to make it an India-focused global melting pot of ideas and innovations. We are honored that the Prime Minister has chosen this platform on multiple occasions to outline his vision for India and its economy. It is deeply satisfying to see this summit keep growing bigger and better. It is today a fixture on the calendars of global and Indian decision makers. Honorable Prime Minister, we thank you for being with us through this journey. You have never shied away from dreaming big and from setting yourself bold targets, even when they have seemed almost unachievable. Many of your initiatives have been game-changing and life-altering. From Swachh Bharat, Ujjwala and Saubhagya, to Jan Dhan and Ayushman Bharat. Direct benefit transfers for payment of subsidies have not only plugged leaks in the system, but touched millions of lives. Inflation, which is like a tax on the poor, is down to 2% from 6% in 2014. And that is what has made the 5 years of your government so full of purpose and vitality. What is particularly heartwarming is that you've been able to do so much for the underprivileged, while at the same time promoting the cause of trade and industry. Later this year, India will become the 5th largest economy in the world. Ease of doing business has improved dramatically from a very lowly rank of 142 in 2014 to 77 now. Landmark reforms such as the Indian Bankruptcy Code and GST have promoted tax compliance and ensured that companies pay lenders and suppliers on time. These are deep reforms, the benefits of which will become more and more apparent over time. Similarly, RERA has greatly improved transparency in the murky real estate market. All this would not have been possible without a strong and stable government, one that is able to innovate on policies and provide the governance to see this through. Even as structural reforms change the Indian business landscape, the challenges on the regulatory front have become even more complex. There is increasing recognition all over the world of the need for a level playing field between traditional and new media. In order to ensure plurality of choice and net neutrality, the issue of convergence between telcos, digital content providers, and distribution networks needs to be addressed. If innovation is to flourish, political leaders and global influencers, many of whom are assembled here today, must frame fair and robust rules for business. Technological breakthroughs can have a real impact only if they benefit everyone. We are already seeing the consequences of an uneven playing field, where the benefits of global deals don't touch the common man. These effects are being felt in some of the world's richest economies. Brexit could hit world trade, upsetting established trade relations and putting many a small business at risk. The US-China trade standoff is already taking a toll, and it could get worse. India, with its steady growth, has been a standout amid global economic volatility. It now needs to step up and help make the world a better place for our children and grandchildren. In Mr. Modi, we have a visionary leader who has established close rapport with his counterparts around the world and can play a lead role in coming up with solutions to the pressing problems of today and tomorrow. All of this has heightened anticipation in the Prime Minister's speech. Knowing him, he must be planning to cross many more rivers and climb many more mountains. Honorable Prime Minister, we are eager to hear your thoughts on the road ahead. We are glad to have all of you here to discuss and debate ideas and solutions. We believe the Global Business Summit is a great platform for helping shape a more inclusive world. Thank you.
Thank you, Vineet, for your wise words and thoughts. My favorite story of Prime Minister Modi is when he got elected. And somebody said to him, "What is your vision, sir?" He said, "Vision? Bhai, main to yahan chai bechte aaya hu." Beyond that light-hearted banter and good-humored response that he gave, the fact of the matter is, it is his vision and his bold economic initiatives that have transformed India into a nation that is progressing faster than most people imagined at every possible level. Even the ease of doing business, India has shot up in the world rankings, which should be of great cheer to investors across the globe. All over India, or rather all over the world, people have been fascinated with India. Mark Twain, the iconic American author, called India cradle of the human race, mother of history, grandmother of legend, and the great-grandmother of tradition. But beyond its great traditions, India is looking forward to an even greater future, and I call on our Prime Minister to share his thoughts on India at this historic Global Business Summit. Please welcome the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi.
Shri Vinit Jain, distinguished guests from India and abroad, a very good morning to all of you. I'm happy to be here once again with you at the Global Business Summit. Let me first compliment you for choosing the word social as the first word of your theme for a business summit. I'm also happy to note that the people present here are discussing the challenge of how to make development sustainable, which happens to be the second word of your summit. And when you talk about scalability, which is the third word of the theme for this summit, it gives me hope and confidence that you are indeed discussing solutions for India. Friends, who would know better than all of you present here about the challenges the country was facing during the second half of 2013 and early 2014. Runaway inflation was breaking the back of every household. Increasing current account deficit and higher fiscal deficit were threatening the macroeconomic stability of the country. All these parameters were indicating a gloomy future. The country was facing total policy paralysis. This was preventing the economy from reaching the level which it was worthy of. The global fraternity was worried about the health of this member of Fragile Five Club. There was a perception of surrender to existing circumstances. Friends, it was in this background that our government came to serve the people, and today change is clearly visible. यहाँ ज़्यादातर टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया के रीडर हैं, इसलिए शायद थोड़ी देर लगेगी. After 2014, hesitations have been replaced by hope. Obstacles have been replaced by optimism. And issues have been replaced by initiatives. Since 2014, India has made significant improvements in almost all international rankings and indices. This is not only show how India is changing, but also represents how the world's perception about India is changing. I am aware that there are some who cannot appreciate this rapid improvement. They suggest that ranking only improves things on paper, but nothing changes on the ground. I think this is far from the truth. Rankings are mostly lagging indicators. things change on the ground first, but reflect in ranking after a time lag. Take the example of ease of doing business rankings. Our rankings have improved from 142 to a historic high of 77 in 4 years. But the change in ranking had been preceded by improvement in situation on the ground. Now, construction permits for starting a new business come faster, and so do electricity connections and other approvals. Even for the small traders, compliance is getting easier. Now a business with a turnover of up to ₹40 lakh does not have to register for GST. Now, a business with a turnover of up to ₹60 lakh does not have to pay any income tax. Now, a business with a turnover of up to ₹1.5 crore is eligible for the composition scheme with very nominal tax rates. In the same way, India's ranking in the World Travel and Tourism Competitiveness Index has gone up from 65 in 2013 to 40 in 2017. Number of foreign tourist arrivals to India increased by around 45%. Number of approved hotels went up by 50%, and foreign exchange earning in tourism also went up by 50% between 2013 and 2017. Similarly, India's rank in Global Innovation Index had gone up from 76 in 2014 to 57 in 2018. The surge in innovation is clearly visible. This improvement in culture is also visible. The number of patents and trademarks filed also show a great increase. Friends, the change is due to a new style of governance and is often visible in interesting ways. I would like to give you such an interesting example of how things have changed since 2014. We are now witnessing various forms of competition. A competition between ministries, a competition between states, a competition on development, a competition on achieving targets. Today, there is a competition as to whether India will get 100% sanitation first or 100% electrification first. There is a competition as to whether all habitations will be connected by road first or all homes will get gas connection first. There is a competition as to which state will attract more investment. There is a competition as to which states will build houses for the poor fastest. There is a competition as to which aspirational district will progress fastest. Before 2014, before 2014, also we heard about a competition, although of a different kind. A competition between ministries, a competition between individuals, a competition on corruption, a competition on delays. There was competition on who can do maximum corruption. There was competition on can do fastest corruption. There was competition on who can do most innovation in corruption. There was competition as to whether coal will get more money or spectrum. There was competition as to whether CWG would get more money or defense deal. We all saw that, and we also know who were the main players involved in this competition. I will leave it to you to decide which form of competition you would prefer. Friends, for decades, a narrative was made that certain things are just impossible in India. The progress our nation has achieved since 2014 gives me confidence that nothing is impossible for 130 crore Indians. नामुमकिन अब मुमकिन है. It was said that making a clean India was impossible, but people of India are making it possible. It was said that corruption-free government in India was impossible, but people of India have made it possible. It was said that it is impossible to remove corruption from the process of giving people their due, but people of India are making it possible. It was said that it is impossible for the poor to leverage the power of technology, but the people of India are making it possible. It was said that removing discrimination and arbitration in policy making was impossible, but people of India are making it possible. It was said that economic reforms in India were impossible, but people of India are making it possible. It was said that governments cannot be pro-growth and pro-approval at the same time, but the people of India are making it possible. I have also been told that there is a perception or theory that a developing economy cannot grow at higher rate for a longer period without facing the problem of inflation. Post-liberalization, that is after 1991, almost all governments formed in our country had to face this problem, what many experts call overheating of economy after a short period of growth. As a result of this, we never had sustainable higher rate of growth. You may recall that we had a government between 91 and 96 where the average growth was about 5%, but the average inflation was more than 10%. The government just before us between 2009 and 2014 had an average growth of about 6.5%, with an average inflation again in double digits. Friends, well, I'm not an economist. I'm talking about the previous government. Friends, during 2014 to 2019, the country would register average growth of 7.4%, and the average inflation would be less than 4.5%. Post-liberalization of Indian economy, this will be the highest rate of average growth and lowest rate of average inflation witnessed during the period of any government. With these changes and reforms, transformation is happening in the way our economy has moved. The Indian economy has expanded the bouquet of its financing resources. It is no more dependent on bank credit for investment needs. Take the example of fundraising from the capital market. During 2011-12 to 2013-14, that is 3 years prior to this government, the average amount of fund raised through equity was about rupees 14,000 crore per annum. In the last 4 years, this average is about rupees 43,000 crore per annum. This is almost 3 times. The total amount raised by alternative investment funds during 2011 and 2014 was less than rupees 4,000 crore. Our government took various measures to level up this source of financing in the economy. And you can see the results. From 2014 to 2018, in 4 years, the total amount raised by alternative investment funds is more than rupees 81,000 crore. This is a jump of the order of 20 times. Similarly, let us see the example of private placement of corporate bonds. The average amount of fund raised through this during 2011 to 2014 was about rupees 3 lakh crore, or about $40 billion. Now, the average over the last 4 years has gone up to rupees 5.25 lakh crore, or about $75 billion. This is a jump of almost 75%. All these are examples of confidence shown in the Indian economy. Today, this confidence is shown not only by domestic investors, but also by investors from all across the world. And the confidence shown in India continues, breaking the earlier trend of pre-election years. In the last 4 years, the amount of foreign direct investment received in the country was almost equal to what was received in 7 years before 2014. To achieve all this, India needed reforms to transform. And by having the bankruptcy code, GST, Real Estate Act, to name a few, a solid foundation for decades of higher growth has been laid. 4 years ago, who would have believed that rupees 3 lakh crore or about $40 billion would be returned by defaulting borrowers to financial and operational credits? This is the impact of bankruptcy and insolvency code. This will help the country in allocating financial resources more efficiently. While we attended the plumbing work on economy, which was not attended for so many years, we also decided not to put a caution board of slow work in progress. All these reforms were implemented without halting work for the well-being of the larger section of the society. Friends, India is a country of 130 crore aspirations, and there can never be a singular vision for development and progress. Our vision for New India caters to all sections of the society, irrespective of their economic profile, their caste, creed, language, and religion. We are working hard to create a new India which fulfills the aspiration and dreams of 130 crore Indians. Our vision of New India includes addressing the challenges of the future while also solving problems of the past. So today, while India has made its fastest train, it has also eliminated all unmanned railway crossings. Today, while India is building IITs and AIIMS at a rapid pace, it has also built toilets in all schools across the country. Today, while India is building 100 smart cities across the country, it is also ensuring rapid progress in over 100 aspirational districts. Today, while India has become a net exporter of electricity, it has also ensured that crores of households which were in darkness since independence have got electricity. Today, while India prepared to send a man to Mars, it is also ensuring that every Indian has a roof over his head. Today, while India is the fastest growing world economy, it is also removing poverty at the fastest speed. Friends, we have moved away from the ABC mentality. That is, A for avoiding, B for burying, and C for confusing. Instead of avoiding an issue, we deal with the issue. Instead of burying it, we dug it out and communicate to the people. And instead of confusing the system, we demonstrated that a solution is possible. This has given us the confidence to further upscale our positive interventions in the social sector. We are reaching out to 12 crore small marginal farmers by providing them a comfort of rupees 6,000 every year. This will transfer 7.5 lakh crore rupees or about $100 billion to our farmers over the next 10 years. We are rolling out a pension scheme for crores of our informal sector workers. The engine of growth for this government is running on two parallel tracks. One, providing social infrastructure to all, particularly for those who were left out. And other, providing physical infrastructure for all, and particularly for generation next to shape their future as per their dreams. What happened in the past is not in our hands, but what will happen in the future is firmly in our hands. We often lament at missing the industrial revolution in the past, but today it is a matter of pride that India is an active contributor to the fourth industrial revolution. The extent and magnitude of our contribution will surprise the world. I am also confident that India may have missed the bus during the first three industrial revolutions, but this time it is a bus India has not only boarded but will also drive. Innovation and technology will form the bedrock of this resurgence. The outcomes of our focus on Digital India, Startup India, Make in India, and Innovate India are converging and reaping rich dividends. Do you know that while around 4,000 patents were granted in 2013 and 2014, more than 13,000 patents were granted in 2017-18. This is a threefold increase. Similarly, do you know that the number of trademarks registered has also gone up from around 68,000 in 2013-14 to around 2.5 lakh in 2016-17. This is almost a fourfold increase. You will be happy to know that today 44% of the startups registered in India are from Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. A network of hundreds of Atal Tinkering Labs is coming up across the country and helping foster an atmosphere of innovation. This will give a solid foundation for our students to help them become innovators of tomorrow. I was impressed to see how a young girl from the snake charmer community was literally charming the mouse and making the most of Digital India. It is equally heartening to see how youth in villages are leveraging Wi-Fi and digital tools to help in clearing competitive exams. It is technology which is bridging the gap between the haves and have-nots in our country. Stories like this are writing a new chapter in the history of India. Friends, with the support and partnership of the people, India has made rapid strides since 2014. This could not have been possible without Jan Bhagidari, people's participation. It is this experience that gives us confidence that our country can provide adequate opportunities to all its citizens to grow, prosper, and excel. We look forward to making India a $10 trillion economy. We look forward to making India the third largest economy We want to make an India of countless startups. We want to lead the global drive towards renewable source of energy. We want to give our people energy security. We want to cut down on import dependence. We want to make India a world leader in electric vehicles and energy storage devices. With these goals in mind, let us rededicate ourselves to create a new India of our dreams. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prime Minister Modi, for your inspiring, fact-filled, and wonderful speech that gave such hope to everybody in the country and internationally. There's been a feeling of enormous optimism and positivity in the country since you came to power, and we are most grateful for that. May I call on Mr. Vineet Jain to please present a token of appreciation to our Prime Minister, a hand-woven shawl, to mark our gratitude of his coming to this wonderful event and speaking to us. Thank you, Prime Minister Modi. Thank you very much. I'm very well, sir. Wonderful to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please be seated. As an actor, I know how hard it is to follow a great act. But the Global Business Summit is all about innovative problem solving, and we can rise to the challenge of every situation. So we bring you a yogi, a mystic, philosopher, and author who's known to hold audiences spellbound. But first, let's see a video of his work. Please play the video of this wonderful, remarkable mystic, philosopher, author, yogi, teacher.
Spotlight is on a project called Green Hands in India.
We started a mass campaign, and 6 years I spent planting trees in people's heads. That's the most difficult terrain, believe me. And now in the last 6 years, we've been transplanting it, and that's happening much more easily.
Action for Rural Rejuvenation is mainly aimed at rejuvenating the human spirit.
This is an incredible movement that is started in Tamil Nadu. We want to see that this happens to the whole country. The idea is not necessarily about developing competitive sport, but the important thing is to bring the spirit of sport and revitalizing rural societies.
ईशा आउटरीच को वर्ष 2018 के लिए राष्ट्रीय खेल प्रोत्साहन पुरस्कार से सम्मानित किया जाता है। सद्गुरु जगदीश वासुदेव, संस्थापक ईशा आउटरीच।
English and computer skills are very essential to make these children come out of the hopeless economic and social pit they are in.
If you could first tell our viewers what is the idea behind it, initiative, insight, which is more specific towards entrepreneurs.
Whatever the nature of your business, ultimately it is all about human well-being.
Isha Foundation, a non-religious, non-profit public service organisation headquartered in southern India.
We've engineered the outside world in so many ways, but we've done nothing about this one.
If you want to know well-being, in is the only way out.
This is what I want to teach you too. That is, you can be completely intoxicated without any drug, just on life. This is a shift from wine to divine.
Adiyogi is the source of yoga, the first yogi.
Adiyogi will inspire many generations to take up yoga. One truly remarkable thing that Sadhguru has done is he has made yogis out of ordinary common people.
We are tracking a mammoth movement, an incredible rally starting from Kanyakumari, reaching up to the Himalayas, all in a month with the sole purpose of rejuvenating India's rivers.
Every state is responding. This is concurrence and this is wonderful.
I'm very happy that Sadhguru has taken up this cause. It should also become a people's movement for our own survival, for the survival of our children.
We are launching a campaign called Youth and Truth in the month of September. Youth and Truth, unplug with Sadhguru, ask whatever you want.
I want to know the truth about ambition.
Technology, astrology, self-doubt.
What is the appropriate age to have sex?
Why do we have to wear a tie or a proper dress code in our placement?
For every one of you, your life is precious, isn't it? This precious life, where are you going to invest it? What is it that will be worthwhile today and worthwhile after 50 years for me to invest myself into? You invest your life into that. This will be a life of fulfillment.
He has a different swag. He's kind of Buddha to us. Sadhguru has become this new friend of youth.
If you have to describe yourself in one word, would you consider wildlife as 2 words or 1 word?
President Pranab Mukherjee felicitating his Sadhguru for all his spiritual contribution.
So please let's welcome the man himself with love, light and laughter. Please welcome Sadhguru. Sadhguru ji needs a little time. That's fine, that's fine. That's fine. Since we have a minute or so before Sadhguruji comes, I'd like to say that there are many institutions and sponsors that make such an event possible, which we've all enjoyed greatly. And therefore, please let me thank our partners, who are, the title partner is Yes Bank, powered by partner is Facebook, sustainability partner is Tata Steel, power partner is Raven, infrastructure partner is GE, MA partner is JSA, digital partner is Perfios, fintech partner Clicks, RPA and AI partner is UiPath, celebration partner is Diageo, and the country partner is Ireland, and the knowledge partner is Bennett University. It's very important that we thank these people. I know it sounds like something we got to do, but something we should do, because their support makes it all possible, and they have been great supporters, many of them, year after year. The Prime Minister actually has spoken at this venue 3 times before. Each time he's made a speech which was a milestone, and set out new benchmarks of what they'd achieved and what they planned to achieve. And each year he has topped himself. I think this year, the speech he gave certainly was the most fact-filled, informed, inspiring speech that he's given at the Global Business Summit and we are all very fortunate to have been here to hear it, to hear such incredibly positive statistics about India, to hear such a thrilling vision for India, and to see the energy of the man that leads India is something that I think warms all our hearts, as well as we hope the hearts of those who are looking at India and planning to invest here and planning to do businesses here, for them to know that this country is on a path that is probably right now the most fortunate in the world. So time has come now to welcome the man himself, whose video you saw, and here he is. Please welcome the now world-famous Sadhguru. Sadhguruji, most welcome.
Sakalam karunam samayadipate akilam karunam. Good morning, everyone.
Please check the microphone of Sadhguru, please. It's very important that this functions well. And the volume should be up, please. Sadhguruji, we apologize for any problems you may be having.
If you can give me your microphone, I'll go with this. Sorry. Namaskaram and good morning to everyone. Hey, I said good morning. Okay. Well, nations are made because of sameness of race, religion, ethnicity, ideologies, languages. But in that sense, India is in defiance of all those things. This is a total defiance of the sameness. If you just go 50, 100 kilometers, people look different, speak different, dress different, of course eat different. Everything is different. But for over 10,000 years, we have been a nation. Even when we were ruled by over 200 different entities, political entities of the time, still we were called a nation. Not only by ourselves, but the rest of the world also looked at us as a nation, even though
politically we were over 200 entities. So what is it that makes this nation take and go? Those who look at us from outside think we are an impossible chaos. But our chaos is like, if you compare a manicured garden with a forest, those who have lived in manicured gardens will feel lost in a forest. But if you don't tend to the manicured garden for a month, it will be no garden at all. But forests have been there for millions of years. So what looks like chaos on the surface is a very resilient organization of its own. Not understanding this, a whole lot of people are trying to break that and bring a new, very synthetic level of organization to this country which will not work for us. In fact, we enjoy some chaos, we feel lost if there is no chaos. To make a nation, there are few fundamentals. Three basics are: the territory or the geography is a fundamental thing. Well, it's not a good thing to split the world into pieces, but unfortunately, we are not still in that kind of a place where we can embrace the whole world and live together. So the largest piece of humanity that we can address is a nation. So the first and most fundamental is geography. When it comes to geography, when we started forming this new India in 1947, we made the most fundamental mistake of breaking the geography into pieces, 3 pieces. Not understanding that this break will lead to a problem that could endure forever. In the sense, I'm not here to give you a political commentary about what happened in 1947 or 48. The important thing is, this has been a business nation forever. Political entities came and went, kings and empires came and went, but the business endured. We were the largest business on the planet. Columbus's, Vasco da Gama's did not do daring seafaring journeys just for adventure, they were looking for the largest economy on the planet. Well, nobody talks about hundreds of expeditions which drowned in the ocean, of course. So this was the largest economy and it stayed that way because it was a business nation. It was not a political nation, it was not a military nation, it was a business nation. But we forgot this and we broke both sides of the country, which were our trading routes for thousands of years. Forever we had traded through these routes and we broke the trading routes and made a nation because we were a little blinded by our freedom. In the sense, you're all very serious, aren't you? It happened like this. A pirate, a classic pirate, not like the Somalian pirates of the day. A classic pirate entered an Irish pub. He had a stump for a right leg, a wooden stump, and a hook for a hand, and of course a classic eye patch on one of his eyes. So he walked in and the bartender looked at him and said, "Hey Jack, what happened to you? Last time I saw you, you were doing great, but it looks like you lost a leg." He said, "Oh, the damn Her Majesty's Service cannonball took away my right leg, but no problem at all. Our ship carpenter fixed up my leg in such a way that with this stump is actually very good, I can even dance." Then he served him one drink and then he asked, "But what happened to your hand? Why this hook?" He said, "Well, we were fighting with some bandits. no good bandits, landlubbers who don't know what is a sword fight. They don't understand a sword should hit a sword. The fool hit my hand and I lost my hand, but no problem. Our blacksmith really fixed me up and this hook actually is better than my hand. He served one more drink and asked, what happened to your eye? He said, I was trying to guide the ship, looking at the stars, the bird poo hit me in the eye. Come on, a bird poo cannot take away an eyeball. He said, oh, I was new to the hook. Freedom is a hook. We were new to the freedom and we were so excited, we broke the country and broke our trading routes and we thought we will somehow survive with our activism. Well, first 40, 50 years went about without knowing what the hell we should do with ourselves. Because by the time we understood that, by the time the leadership understood rather, that to make a nation successful, what is required is not successful politics, what is required is not successful armies, what is required is successful businesses. By the time we figured this out, it was 30, 40 years gone. So now, we can say this new upsurge in India is only about 25 or 30 years old. For 30 years, I think we've done a great job. What do you think? We could have done better. We could have done better, that is always in postmortem, we could have done better. But for 30 years, for any nation of the size that we are and the complexity that we are, we've done great. But we are dragging our feet on a few things. This is not working. I'm shouting. Hello? Yep. We are dragging our feet on a few things. As I said, the first dimension of a nation is its territory or geography. The second part is the processes and systems, the laws and mechanics of how a nation should function. In this, we have dragged our feet a little bit and because of this, we still have many systems and processes which were imposed upon us by the occupying forces, where the fundamental intention was control and obedience. We still have many laws and many processes and systems which are all about controlling the citizenry, not about unleashing our human prowess and genius and human intellect, function and above all, India's enterprise to really be unleashed. Unfortunately, we inherited a whole lot of them. Only now we are paying attention as to how we can change. We have been dragging our feet on this, for this nation has paid a huge price. Though on one level we are the fifth largest economy, as the Prime Minister was saying, but at the same time, we also have the largest number of malnourished children in the country. So we are both ways. There are strides ahead and there are leftovers behind. We are trying to pull them along, but we have definitely dragged our feet on fixing the systems and processes which should govern this nation. And the third, the last, but the most important is the people. In the minds and hearts of people, if you don't build the nation, there is no real nation. Nation is just an idea. When we invest our thought and emotion into it, it becomes a wonderful idea. Otherwise, it becomes a nasty idea. Whether it's nation or a smaller entity of society called family, if, for example, marriage is just an idea, well, some of you believed it was made in heaven, that's the biggest mistake. If it was made here, it would have worked much better. This made in heaven things don't work here. So, for example, marriage, if you take it, it's just an idea. But if you invested your thought and emotion in it, absolutely, it could become a wonderful idea, or it can become a horrendous idea. The question is only, how much of myself will I invest in that idea? The same goes for the nation. how much of ourselves do we invest in this idea of nationhood. Accordingly, it either becomes a wonderful idea or a horrible idea. We've been little back and forth on this because when we got our independence, we did not do this aspect really well. When we got independence, there was a huge pride of being Indian. Slowly it got chipped away and worn out because we did not establish this idea strongly in people's minds and hearts. We did not do enough work on that. We thought it just happens by itself. Because of this, people took on their own small identities of caste, creed, religion, race, ethnicity, all kinds of things. So, we are a bit struggling on these things because we did not beat the iron when it was hot. Now, cold steel to beat it. We are struggling a bit to a point where some people are confused whether they belong here or somewhere else. We have kept these confusions going, unfortunately. I think it's time to settle, because if this one thing, if we don't settle, that people are clear that I belong to this nation and the only way for me to prosper is to be a part of this and to make this work, if that doesn't become clear in everybody's minds and hearts, taking the nation ahead will be a struggle. Whatever big strides we take in our business, economy and various other spheres which we are doing, science, technology, all these things, everything can go bad with little bit of strife on the street. Tomorrow morning if there is strife on the street, everything will be pulled down. What has been built over years can be pulled down in an afternoon. So, these three dimensions, all these three we have to settle. One thing is the geography or the borders of the nation has to be fixed and say, this is it, some give and take should happen and there should be no confusion for future generations as to which is India and which is not India. Whether I'm in India or I'm outside India, it must be clear to me, otherwise how will I focus my emotions and energies and how will I dedicate myself to something? This confusion we have left, this must be settled now for taking strong steps for the nation. And the systems and processes, it is very important that we explore every one of them and see whether this is made for free India or this is made for enslaving India, in the sense. Just to give you a sample, for most of you, if you are from outside the country, you may not understand this. Even today, for most common people, not criminals, regular people, even mothers tell this to children, hey, you listen to me, otherwise see the policeman is coming. A policeman is not seen as help, a policeman is not seen as support, a policeman is not giving you security, policeman is a threat. This is because this is a hangover from the British era. A policeman comes means your life is in trouble because he's always there to trouble you. So, these kind of things still exist. We have to change these things, that when we see a police officer or a government officer, we must see solutions are coming, not problems coming our way. Right now still, most people experience this as a problem. We have been dragging our feet on making policy changes. Drastic policy changes will cause some upheavals. But if we are not ready for going through that little pain that we have to go through when changes happen, that means we will not make any change, that means we will stagnate. A whole lot of people telling me, for example, GST has hurt small businesses. Yes, it has. I know this very well because they are all in touch with us and there is a lot of pain. But if we don't make these changes, forever this nation will be a small business. If you want this nation to become a big business, then we have to make some changes which are painful. We are used to working out of our pockets just to trust this money. That's… I trust my money only if it's in my pocket. Even the bank, I'm suspicious. This is how the culture is evolved because the governments that ruled us were always from outside for many centuries, so we were always suspicious of them. It is very important now, the people of this generation and the future generation are very clear-hearted about this, that this is our country and these are our governments and these are standing for us, not against us. This has to become very clear in the minds and hearts of Indian people. Otherwise, we will always be half-hearted about what we want to do in this country. And coming to the people, we have 1.3 billion people. Really, if you look at it, that is our greatest strength, and that could be our biggest problem. If we have 1.3 billion people who are well-educated, skilled, focused and inspired, we will do a miracle that nobody can imagine possible. But if you leave them unskilled, unfocused, uninspired, then this could be a recipe for disaster. So this is where our real challenge is, whether we will convert this human resource that we have into a phenomenal force or into a great problem for ourselves. This challenge, if it has to be addressed, serious policy changes are needed. The governments of the past have made efforts to educate India, and our idea of education slowly degraded itself into literacy, that if somebody can write his name, he's educated. So from there to quality education, where human genius can be unleashed, if this has to happen, then there is money involved, there are expenses involved. Right now, anybody who wants quality education, or at least a whole lot of them, are leaving the country. They tell me somewhere like $23 to $24 billion worth of education is going out of the country. But why don't we allow people to set up educational institutions of the same quality here? And it'll cost money and investments, but if you do that, this huge loss of educated, skilled young people going away from the country could be avoided. Having said that, we have taken great strides, there's no question about that. In the last 10 years, it is said about 240 million people have moved out of poverty. That's not a small thing. And I've always been connected with rural societies, and we see that there is a huge change in rural India. How it was 25 years ago and how it is today, there's a big difference. Still, as I said, we have malnourishment problems, we have stunted growth in our children. Because why I'm coming back to this again and again is, what kind of human beings we produce will decide what kind of nation we will have. If we don't focus on producing great human beings, there is not going to be a great nation. Nation is not going to happen because we've written a great book called Constitution. It's only going to happen because we built great human beings. If that has to happen, not just mass education, focused, high-quality education needs to happen. For this, I would request all the business and industry to look at this as a possibility, because education is the biggest thing in the country right now. The greatest industry in the country can be this. We have a phenomenal level of intellect and talent, but it is not organized enough that people have to go outside to get themselves into some level of organization. This has to change. If this one thing changes, the next few years for India can be a phenomenal process. In many ways, this is the most vibrant nation right now in the world in terms of what can happen in the next 5–10 years' time. In technology, in essential human intellect, there is an advantage, a cultural advantage over every other nation that we call this samskara. There's a traditional learning process which has happened to us, which we should not lose out. If we allow another 2 generations to pass by, we will lose this advantage. So as a nation, we are standing on a threshold. Will we have the courage and commitment to take the steps that will make us cross the threshold, or will we just sit there? Lot of people have this thing, no, we are on the right track. I'm telling you, especially if you're on the right track and sit there for too long, you will get run over, especially if you're on the right track. So, we don't become a run-over country, but we became a country which is on the right track, moving at the right pace. This is important. As I said earlier, this is in the hands of the business. The political leadership can only set agenda, can only make policy, but the real nation happens depending upon how the business will buzz in this country. Well, I know there are difficulties, I know there are challenges, there are problems of corruption, there are problems of variety of things, roadblocks all over the place. But this is our time. We can talk about glorious past, it doesn't matter. This is our time on this planet. Whether we will make this the greatest time in history of humanity or we will make it the worst time is all in our hands. There are many challenges. There are ecological challenges, there are nourishment challenges, there are organizational challenges, there is investment challenges, but the possibility is so big that these problems look small in terms of what is possible for this nation. What is sitting in front of us is so big, if we can take a few steps, strong steps in the next few years, what is possible is truly tremendous, and I'm sure with all of you involved and, in many ways, world's focus is coming to India, and if you make use of this focus to take the next few steps, definitely this is a great nation. Above all, as a nation, we have been always a land of seekers, not a land of believers. Seekers means we have invested in our ignorance. Understanding the intelligence of ignorance is very important. If you identify yourself with what you know, you must understand, in this living cosmos, what we know is a very puny little thing. What we do not know, or our ignorance is a boundless nature. Our ignorance is really boundless. So, we have always invested in this, that is why this is a land of seekers. If you look back on the history of this country, even when the so-called divine entities came, they could not give us any commandments because we anyway would not believe it. We only asked them questions. We've always been a land of seekers. This seeking, if we keep it alive, in every dimension of life, if we keep this seeking alive, that we are identified with what we do not know, because what we do not know is way larger than what we know. In this is the root of this nation. In this, we evolved this nation in such a way, a culture in this country, where human genius unfolded because we were always seeking about things that we do not know. If this aspiration is kept alive, if this seeking is kept alive, India as a nation has a great future because, as I said earlier, without evolving great human beings, there is no great nation. This has been our strength. We have never been a very organized process, but individual genius always unfolded in this country because we did not believe anything. We were always seekers. And this one dimension, if we maintain, it is because of this we were called a nation. When people came from outside, they were just freaked by us because they asked, who is your God? First thing. Oh, well, this one, this one, this one, this one, all these are our gods. So what kind of religion is this? This is not a religion. This is understanding the intelligence of ignorance. Understanding that the phenomena of life is always on full fire if you are in a seeking mode. If you come to your believing mode, you settle down. But when you're in a seeking mode, you're continuously on fire. So this fire we have exhibited for thousands of years. We should not lose this fire because this is where our growth is, this is where our future is. Thank you very much. I think I will.
Thank you, Sadhguruji, for your wonderful words of wisdom. Be the seeker. Seek always, be on fire, and he spoke of the making of the nation. Now, we'll have a break for coffee for 10 minutes, but remember, go onto the lawns outside the hotel. Raja Bagh and Rani Bagh await you with lots of coffee and cookies and good things to eat. But remember, it's only for 10 minutes, so make the most of it. Look forward to seeing you back very soon.
Innovation Hub, not only did we get a chance to showcase our project alongside like-minded companies, but also got the chance to get valuable insights from mentors from Facebook.
मैं सोचा मैं एक आपदे वास्ते एक फेसबुक पेज बना लेना है जो कोई मैं प्रोड्यूस वेचनी हुंदी सी ओदे बारे इन्फॉर्मेशन पा दिंदा सीगा
I can be a small change to to somebody's life, which I think is a big achievement for me.